each one of you. Then also, we're not only going to be in Kinshasa, we plan to go down to Goma because that's one of the key business centers for a lot of our business people. So on the 4th, we'll travel down to Goma, and then we shall have business summit. We shall have the trade fair and the B2B meetings in Goma. Now, in all this, we will also have visits to the market to appreciate exactly how business runs in DRC. So without taking wind of what, taking out the wind of what our key speakers will speak to today, those are just brief details about our event. So hang in a few minutes, stay with us as we wait for our Honorable Minister to arrive. In a short while, they'll all take their seats, and then we shall start off. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa. Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa. Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa. Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa. Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, our dear journalists, and those online. I'd like, first of all, to apologize on behalf of the organizing committee for the delay that we have had. We are really, really sorry. But on the good side, we are ready to start. And all our journalists, thank you so much for your patience. It's been a long wait, but I'm sure we are now all set to have a beautiful flow of the day. So without wasting much of our time, especially for the online community that has been waiting, I'd like just to start our agenda. Like we all know, today is really to share information and speak about this big activity that we are preparing for Uganda to go seriously into DRC and do serious business. So ladies and gentlemen, today we have the first press brief, press conference for Government of Uganda with our partners from the Democratic Republic of Congo to speak to us about this big activity that is coming in about 2 weeks from now, or less than 2 weeks actually now. So before us, we have our Honorable Minister of Trade. You're very welcome, sir. And he's the head of the delegation that we will be going with down to DRC. With us as well, I would like now to introduce our key guests today. We also have a representative from the Embassy of DRC in Uganda, the first consular of DRC Congo in Uganda, Mr. Christian Katoto. You're very welcome, sir. With us, we also have representation from other government institutions. We have Ambassador Katurebe from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You're very welcome, sir. Then we have the Executive Director for Uganda Export Promotion Board, Mr. Eli Twineyo Kamjisha. You're welcome, sir. And our key hosts today are the private sector. We have representation from the Uganda National Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Frederick Kamya, the Director, Chamber of Commerce. You're welcome. We also have representation from Uganda Manufacturers Association. Lydia, you can put up your hand. We also have, finally, Private Sector Foundation, who, in partnership with other private sector arms, are putting this activity together. And the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Stephen Asimwe, will be addressing us. So quickly, our agenda today is to brief the press. The media people carry our messages, and like we know, trade goes before us. As Uganda, we know there's already a lot of trade happening with Congo, but with Congo coming on board in the ESC, it is now a smooth flow for us, I believe. So I know that with this lead of the private sector, they've been pushing to get all these formalities happen. Now is the time. Now it's time for us to go and actually do serious business. So that is the information we are going to receive today with the details of how you as private sector are going to participate. So my names are Brenda Katarika-Weopus, and I work with Uganda Export Promotion Board. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to straight away invite our first speaker today to open the floor and give us the details of why we are here. Mr. Stephen Asimwe, the Chief Executive Officer, you can take your mic. We will allow our speakers to remain seated so that we don't have to have so much movement. So Stephen, please give us the reason you've called us here to share the details about the event. After Stephen, we shall have Chamber of Commerce speak to us and give us the details of how they are prepared to actually meet the other chambers that are out there especially that big chamber that is in DRC Congo. So Chamber of Commerce will speak to us briefly. We shall then also have a word from Uganda Manufacturers Association, short, precise, because we don't have time, just to tell us what manufacturers are preparing and how they are preparing themselves for this activity. We shall also have communication from Uganda Export Promotion Board, the Executive Director. He'll speak to us about these opportunities and how our business people need to prepare themselves to get into Congo. With us is Minister of Foreign Affairs, and these people work tirelessly to make sure that the relationships of these countries continue to work well. And he'll speak to us very briefly about that preparedness and how ready we are. And then finally, the Minister of Trade will give his remarks. So I think I've spoken enough. Stephen Asimwe, please take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brenda, and good morning, everybody. The Honorable Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, the Honorable Francis Mwebesa, you're most welcome. The representative of the DRC in Uganda, Chamber of Commerce, Ambassador Katurebe, Dr. Eli Twineo, colleagues from the private sector and government agencies, colleagues from the media, you're all very welcome to this morning's press conference. I'll just make a quick introduction of why we are here in the context of this planned summit. The Honorable Minister is a very busy person and he intends to attend to another very, very important meeting. So I won't say much. But Honorable Minister, we are very, very happy to receive you this morning, and thank you for coming to grace what is essentially a very, very big event for both us at the private sector, but also for the government. Honorable Minister, at the end of this month, we intend to be in the Democratic Republic of Congo from May 31st to June 8th in the two cities of Kinshasa and Goma, and we want to thank you and your ministry and the government of Uganda for giving us a fantastic opportunity to go and do business and trade and invest with our neighbors. We've been meeting for a couple of weeks under the guidance of yourself and the ministry, because we know that you put a lot of importance on trade, on investment, on industry. And the outcome of which is that we have agreed with our counterparts on the other side of the border to come and meet and do business. We've met with all the different ministries, Foreign Affairs, Trade, Agriculture, Ministry of East African Cooperation, government agencies like the Uganda Investment Authority, our colleagues at Chamber of Commerce, Manufacturers Association, the Ministry of East African Community Affairs, and the Presidential Advisory Committee on Export and Industrial Development. The outcome of which is that we have organized ourselves into a consortium that is going to do business at the DRC. We thank you for accepting to take leadership on our behalf. As you know, business is government sector-led, but private sector-driven. So it's against this background, your Honorable Minister, that we invited you to come and address us. After you have given your speech, we shall continue with the media who are interested in relaying this information to the general public. And without much ado, Honorable Minister, allow me to request that you address the media and the country at large. Thank you very much. You can sit here.
As I think I want to welcome different people in their different capacities. First and foremost, I want to welcome the representative of the Republic of Congo. Secondly, him. Thirdly, Asimwe, the representative of the Private Sector Foundation, and person from Foreign Affairs, as well as our good self of our Export Promotion Board. I'm really happy this morning to see my colleagues in industry and in trade community of Uganda in attending this very important meeting. The most important thing is the Republic of Uganda has now prepared itself to go to the Congo after the Uganda government opened the roads to Congo for trade. On behalf of government, I'm really happy that the people who do business on this end of time, and I want to welcome you, my friends, that this is the time that you should take advantage of the government having opened up the Republic of Congo for business. If I may say, you are late, you should have gone yesterday. However, it's never late. We shall go, as you say, on the date set. The Republic of Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo are important trading partners, with the total trade between them increasing from US dollars 479.7 million in 2016 to 687.1 in 2021. Between 2016 and 2021, total trade between Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo grew by 43% and by an average of 7% annually. Most of the trade between these two countries takes place informally. 53% annually since 2016. And there is a lot of unexploited potential to trade between the countries. In this regard, the government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives, in conjunction with the Private Sector Foundation, has scheduled a trade delegation and business forum, DRC, from the 29th May 2022 to 8th June 2022, with the aim of identifying more business opportunities for increasing exports to DRC. The delegation will be composed of primarily business persons with the government ministries, departments, and agencies that facilitate trade, such as the Ministry of Trade, UNBS, URA, Immigration, and Ministry of Agriculture, etc., playing the supportive role. The private sector and the government will work together in engaging the government of DRC to provide the requisite conducive environment. While the private sector should engage their counterpart of real business, commercial discussions, I want to use this opportunity to implore those of you in business community who are interested in accessing the DRC market to use this opportunity for this activity. A secretariat has been set up at Private Sector Foundation to register representatives of the private sector companies that intend to participate. The PSFU is here and will provide you more details. And please engage them. My technical team is here to provide any clarification if required. What I mean, we have got the Export Promotion Board, we have got we have got the commissioner. I'm talking about my technical team from the ministry, because it is our role to facilitate you people to go on that. The commissioner is also here, and he should provide you with more details, and when you are engaging yourself in this business you are going in. And they will give, if there is any clarification, they should be able to give it. The rest of the event of this organization has been organized by Presidential Advisor Audrey Kuruabogo, who has done it ably for our ministry. And I think our representative is here, who should be able to give you answers. As to the press, I should have addressed you because this is your day as the main hosts of this meeting. And that after this, I would say, I declare that now we have started a new chapter for this country of going to the DRC, of doing business with them. Thank you very much to listen to me.
Thank you very, very much, Honorable Minister. I think he deserves another round of applause. Our media colleagues and partners, now we get into a bit more detail. I will request that we have the representative from our, oh, okay, sorry. Okay. We are going to have the CEO continue his remarks, and then we shall get into the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. I had the minister was very he needed to go back quickly, so I just thought I'll just complete where I'd stopped. Once again, thank you very much, my colleagues from the media, my colleagues from the different radios, TVs, print media, and social media team. I'd already made my introductions. I'll just go straight into business. We started this program as a consortium to ensure that we create business opportunities for our private sector working with government. And we want to thank the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for having started the opening this process. We are joined by a Ministry of Trade. And like I said earlier, we are a team. We have the Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We have Investment Authority. We have the Export Promotions Board, and the other ministries that are represented. And once again, thank you, the representative of DRC, for giving us this opportunity. So very quickly, we intend to be in the DRC from May 31st to June the 8th, so that we meet with our counterparts in the DRC. We are thankful for our contacts that we have made, who are preparing the process of ensuring that we go there. We'll be there for about 10 days, and we intend to have business linkages. We are going to have a trade fair. We're going to have business-to-business engagements. We are going to have government-to-government discussions. And like the minister said, this is going to be a very, very fundamental discussion, because it is going to open doors and opportunities for us. Now, this comes against the backdrop that the DRC officially joined the ESC trading bloc in March, and with a combined size of more than 250 million people, this is good business for us as a region. The DRC is not new to us. We have had traditional relationships for many years. So we're not reinventing anything. Our people have been doing business. But for the first time, we are going in a formal manner. We are entering this market with a formal engagement, and we are very, very thankful, Your Excellency. And please take our thanks. We want, as business people, to meet other business people. We want our manufacturers to meet the manufacturers on the other side. We have been joined by the Uganda Airlines, which is now doing 5 flights a week, which is very good for us. And so we are excited about this discussion. We want to maximize this opportunity by creating deeper links with our brothers and sisters from the DRC. I want to go into the figures, but we hope that the discussion, business to business, will lead to growth between the two entities. We have a strong contingent of the members of the PSFU and obviously the Chamber of Commerce in areas of manufacturing, agriculture, tourism and hospitality, financial services. We intend to have very good discussions on education, on health, on the creative sector, in transport and logistics. So we are going with a very strong team with backup, with banks, and we think that and believe strongly that this is going to create very good, strong business relationships with our neighbors. The good thing is that all the communities on the border between Uganda and the DRC speak the same language. So the Alurs in West Nile have Alur people on the other side. The Lugbars are on the other side. The Banyoro are in the DRC. The Batoro, the Bachiga, the people from Kisoro, the Bafumbira have equally communities on the other side. So we are going to meet our brothers and sisters. We are going home away from home. So it's going to be not just business and investment, but it's also a reunion of sorts. So we're looking forward to this discussion, and I believe that the media has time to ask us questions. But just for purposes of announcing, we are going to be the secretariat. The PSFU is the secretariat of this discussion, and we hope that if you have any questions, anybody intending to travel to the DRC for business, come to PSFU. We shall guide you, we shall register you for those. So the dates, once again for emphasis, the dates, May 31st to June the 8th, we shall be in Kinshasa, and then we shall be going to Goma, which is in the eastern part of the DRC, and we'll have those discussions there. We want to thank our other sister institution, the Uganda Investment Authority, who will be having similar investment discussions alongside that. So we are really going as a consortium, and so we hope that the outcome of this trip will add value to our business. At PSFU, our motto is business growth is our business. So we want all the members of the PSFU in the different sectors to be part of this discussion. So I'll leave the stage for now. I'll invite questions later and allow for my colleagues to also come and say something. But thank you very much for your attendance, and we look forward to very, very successful business engagements in the DRC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stephen Asimwe, for giving us, answering the question, why Congo and what we are going to do. Thank you, Mr. Mtahunga, for taking up that seat. So now we will continue with the private sector giving us a brief about how prepared they are and what they are going to do with their business partners in DRC. So I'll quickly invite the director from Chamber of Commerce to also mention very briefly how prepared they are to get into this whole journey into DRC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brenda. And thank you, Mr. Simwe, for PSFU taking the lead in organizing this exercise that's very, very important for the country going forward as far as business and trade is concerned. And I also like to add my voice to those already that have appreciated the media for being here in good numbers to take word to the public about this very important process going on. Now, as Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we are mandated by the Constitution to enhance business opportunities for the people of Uganda, especially in as far as market accessibility is concerned. And so this is a great opportunity that has come forth that DRC has joined the East African community, a bloc of already 177 million people, and now bringing a huge market to add to that of over 90 million. What a great opportunity that is. And like Mr. Sumi just mentioned, DRC are just a neighbor in the West. And with all these connections of language and culture, we have been connecting, but now it's important that we move to connect even more formally. Now, us as National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we liaise with other bodies in the region. And one of those is the Great Lakes Private Sector Forum, which comprises 15 countries. And that's a big bloc. And DRC is the vice chair of that initiative. And so going forward, we want to move even more swiftly in enhancing the opportunities that there are. And let me inform you also, the minister briefly talked about it. According to Bank of Uganda statistics, in the year 2020, Uganda had a trade surplus of $241 million. That's big. There aren't so many other countries that we have such a trade surplus. And so we are really excited that we are going into Congo to enhance even that more. But also, that is mentioning just the formal trade. But there is the informal trade of 177 million that happened in 2020 that's not very easily captured even by Bank of Uganda. And now, this past January, this hit even higher records because Uganda moved from a gross supply of trade of 30 million to 74.3 million in the month of January alone. So if we can have that volume of business of 74.3 million in 1 month without formal agreements, without formal arrangements, without this public knowledge now that we are handling today, what is going to happen going forward after all this has come in place? So we implore the public, especially the business community, the traders, to please move quickly and come and join us in this venture so we can grow the country. All this that we are doing is so we can grow business, is so we can grow trade, is so we can get more inflow of foreign currency, and so we can grow the country. I thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Kamya, for those very reassuring words. So I think you can see Uganda is ready. Uganda Manufacturers Association will also have a word from you. I'll invite a representative from Uganda Manufacturers Association, to come and also speak to us very briefly so that we manage our time. Lydia, you're welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Protocol observed. My name is Lydia Tusime. I'm the Communications Officer at Uganda Manufacturers Association. As the UMA, we are really excited about this opportunity that has come before us, because as all my former speakers have pointed to, the amount of business that we are likely to get. Despite the different hurdles, in the past we've had a number of impediments to us accessing this market, and one of these has been security, as well as tariff and non-tariff barriers, where you will all realize that the different accessing DRC has been really challenging, because every province has different tariff rates, and getting this structured was quite a challenge to us. But the DRC joining the ESC has meant that these are all going to be streamlined, and all these protocols that they have subscribed to will enhance our competitiveness to export. And just to put it into perspective, last year we have quite a number of sectors that did well with export, and one of these is the paper and the paper sector, whereby we exported about 19%, which was a good thing. And just as you all know, the DRC has had a number of insecurities in the past, and we believe that with this formalization, we're going to have quite a number of sectors where we've grown capacities, and these include the dairy sector and the steel sector, and as well as the plastics, foam and foam products, among others. So we've mobilized together with the PSFU and the Ministry of Trade to have our members showcase some of these products where we've grown capacities. And I implore all the manufacturers to come on board so that we make this integration worthwhile. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lydia. I think from what Lydia has spoken about, I can see in terms of sectors, we have a number of those that are ready to move. Just to add on to what she says, I would like to reassure all manufacturers that we have space for exhibition in DR Congo. So prepare yourself to have some items for exhibition. Normally, when you have an event like this, back-to-back with a summit, we have exhibition space where the people, the buyers who are interested in your products would like to feel and touch what you have. So carrying samples, you may not carry truckloads because you may not be able to sell everything, but at least you will be able to share in terms of what you have. Africans, we like touching and seeing. So prepare your products. We are going to have exhibition space where you'll be able to showcase what you have, okay? So now that we've heard from private sector, they are all prepared, they are ready to move. We're going to hear from the departments and agencies from government, how prepared or how they are going to guide us and facilitate us to get into these markets. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to invite Mr. Eli Tuineyo from Uganda Export Promotion Board, the Executive Director, to come and speak to us about how you should get prepared, what opportunities are in DR Congo. You're welcome.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, and you are welcome. Like the minister said, that we should have been in business, investing and trading greatly with DRC yesterday. So we are very late, but we have to go. Uganda Export Promotion Board has been trying all our efforts to make sure we trade with DR Congo. And for us with trade, we believe import and export, because trade is a mutual relationship. You trade, I buy from you, you buy from me. And then we have joint activities, we have joint investments, we have FDIs, we do services together. And since around 1913, we have been trying to deal and trade with the DR Congo, especially Eastern DRC. And we found a lot of opportunities. Of course, without sounding old, we went to Kinshasa. Among the people went to Kinshasa a long time ago, during the time of Kabila I. Don't ask me my age. And so we find there are opportunities. But age is how you feel. Age is just a number. Don't discriminate people based on their age. We hate discrimination, especially those of us who believe in human rights and are gender sensitive. So we thank the minister, therefore, for coming to address and flag us off. We also thank you, the media, for being here. Every time during my work, I have said that without the media, I would not have run Uganda Export Promotion Board. Because if you have to trade, you have to tell people about trade and opportunities. And if you have to keep your opportunities in your bed, then there will not be opportunities. You have to promote. And I'm about to end, I will tell you about my auntie who had two beautiful ladies. Every time there is these weddings in Uganda, you have that meeting. And then you are fundraising. She would contribute the two ladies. She said, I will give you the two ladies as matron, as what, how do they call them? The ladies who accompany the Mugore. The maids. I will give you the two maids and my ladies as maids, and I will dress them myself. That was her contribution. After 3-4 weddings, they were also taken. Because she was marketing them. She was showing them to the media that they are available, and what else other than being on the high pedestal. So the media helps us to publicize, to market, to promote, and without you, we are not here. DR Congo is important to me in the ESC, because within the spirit of the ESC, then documentation. As Damari, we have had the issues of documentation, papers, and logistics, because papers, documents move with goods. And we need the right papers within the ESC to move the goods. Now that we are together in the same spirit of the ESC, we, as Uganda Export Promotion Board, are going to do a lot. As I talk now, we are doing studies in DR Congo. And like I said, these studies are not selfish. It is not that we want to export to Congo, we want to trade with DRC. And I have been talking already with some of the people as we waited in the lobby, that we need to begin to trade together. We need to begin to help our people form joint companies. We need to help our people do FDIs so that we can trade together. Uganda shares the longest border with DRC. And this is important because there is the issue of culture, there is the issue of food, there is the issue of language. And DRC brings the ESC members, landlocked and non-landlocked, to two international waters. I hope the modern English accepts what I mean, international waters, both sides. But also, as I wrote in an article recently, we are close to what the president has been saying, the center of gravity. Because if the ESC, we all come together, you have had the numbers of population, you have had the wealth, you have had the businesses. we could become the economic center of gravity, let alone the security center of gravity, let alone the power center of Africa, because Africa has been looking to be self-sufficient, politically, militarily, and security-wise. We cannot always be relying on donor security, donor aid, donor trade. So this brings us to the center of gravity, and I'm excited about it. The role of the state is very paramount, and that's why I'm standing here. We assure the private sector that Uganda Export Promotion Board and the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives and the ministry itself, we will enter with you into DR Congo. As a matter of fact, the Ministry of Trade, our ministry, since more than 7 years ago, already has been working on an MOU. They entered into an MOU when even DRC was still part of COMESA. We said we needed an MOU under which we could be trading, and now the EAC has come, and we will continue with that. We will have exhibitions during this trip in Kinshasa, and Brenda has assured you that there is space for you. Just carry your samples. We also have an exhibition in Eastern DRC, and just carry your samples. Trade is booming. Yesterday I went to Wera, I went to Mpondo and crossed, because I'm not white, so I don't need documentation. I said a few words, Sangonin, Maramba, Roba, Zabango, Mbote Mama, and then I crossed. And I saw trucks were going in and were going out. And I asked customs. So already trade is happening without us going there. So I think this should be a boost, a trigger. When I was a target worker in different countries abroad, our company had, Stuart, you hear this, we had a trigger talk. Every morning before we began business, we had a trigger talk. So this is trigger to energize our people. So this delegation of trade, of investment, of commerce is to trigger our private sector that we have started. And once we have started, we should continue doing business together. Ladies and gentlemen, I like talking about statistics. Today, I don't want to talk about statistics. You will be surprised how informal trade is almost half of formal trade between DRC and Congo. And Stuart and the other people in private sector and Uma, you know this. We need and we intend to eliminate, to minimize, to diminish informal trade. Thank you very much. You are welcome to Uganda-DRC Trade and Investment Forums. You know, English changed. During my time, you didn't say forums, but now you can say forums in DR Congo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ED, Uganda Export Promotion Board. Now, like it was emphasized earlier, this is a joint event. So we have many other players and partners with us. We have Uganda Investment Authority, we have the Ministry of East African Community with us. So all these are players that are part and parcel of this initiative. So the UIA will not be able to speak today, and neither will Minister of East Africa, but we have representation around, and whoever is interested in having further discussion with them, I'll just ask them to stand so that our media people know who they are. Peter Mlira from Uganda Investment Authority, you're welcome. And our representative from Ministry of East African Affairs, you can also stand, and people know you are around. He's a commissioner. Okay, so now we will go in to have one more speaker. We should have had Uganda Airlines here. Uganda Airlines is a key partner in this, and they are going to, they should have been here to explain how they are going to move you from here, with your items into DRC. Now, you know we have a flight into Kinshasa, 5 flights, like Stephen mentioned. But then we have the flights from Kinshasa to Goma. Uganda Airlines will still take care of that leg. So I'd like to encourage private sector. Don't be worried. Okay? Uganda Airlines will take charge of the whole trip. So all we want to hear and see is big numbers coming through. They have the capacity to take so many of us, 200, 500, we are ready to go, and they are ready for us. So please, we shall share the details on how you're going to register. We have a link. You're going to register and confirm. 1, you have to confirm you're ready to participate. 2, you also have to confirm if you want to participate as an exhibitor, because we have to prepare space for you. So if you want to exhibit, please, as you submit your details, ensure that you mention the aspect of exhibition. So ladies and gentlemen, I will now ask our representative from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because they are in the background cementing these relationships. They do a lot for us. Without Ministry of Foreign Affairs here, these trade relations probably would not be happening. So allow me to invite Ambassador Katurebe to come and speak to us. After him, he will invite his counterpart from the DRC Embassy to give us the final word for the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brenda. And Brenda had prepared us to talk from there, but our minister set the pace that we should all come here. And since he's our minister and our elder and our leader, I don't see any justified reason for me to talk from there. I follow suit. Mr. Mutahunga, you know, you are in a very big seat of the minister. We have to address you as that, the representative of the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Our host, Mr. Stephen Asimwe, who is outside doing some work, who is our host again. My brother, Mr. Katoto from the Embassy of Democratic Republic of Congo, my brother Eri, my brother from Chamber of Commerce, my brother from East African Community, from Uganda Investment Authority, from manufacturers, and my sister from our partners, who represents our partners from Trademark East Africa, my friends and colleagues. I use the word colleagues because without you, we can't do much. We call you the members of the Fourth Estate and any other person who could be online listening in to what we are saying. As I told you, I come from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And one of our responsibilities as a ministry is, as mandated in the Constitution, we are mandated to promote and protect Uganda's national interests abroad. But even at home, we still do it because when there is a challenge to our foreigner, whether to our national, with a foreigner here, still we can still handle it at home. So our mandate dictates that there is nothing that we can do outside this country without our participation. And my ministry has done everything possible within its means to ensure that we open up boundaries, we open up opportunities for our people wherever they go. And for this case, the Democratic Republic of Congo, you know, we have an embassy in Kinshasa, which has been there many, many years ago. We also have a consulate in Goma, can call it a liaison office, because Goma is the nearest big town that most of you who are doing business in DRC, they find Goma easier than getting to Kinshasa because of distance and other challenges. So I must give you that information to ensure that when you are out there, you don't get lost, and when you get a challenge, you know where to go. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, today I don't want to make speeches because most of the issues have been addressed by our colleagues here, and I know you have burning questions to ask. I don't want to enter into that time. But our minister said it very clearly that Uganda has opened up roads. And Uganda, in the old EAC, is one of the closest neighbors of DRC. The question has been, does Uganda want to operate like a signpost? You open roads, you show people where to go, but you don't get there. I agree with you, the private sector, when you say that we have been late to enter into DRC, but the saying is very clear, better late than never. And sometimes, when you take time, you prepare better. I want to uphold the team, the CEO of Private Sector Foundation talked about. Yes, we have delayed, but I think the team has put up a number of measures to ensure that when we get into DRC, we are not going to meander. We know where we are going. We have worked very closely with our brothers from the embassy and the team in Kinshasa. At least now, when we get into DRC, we are not going to go as strangers. We know what we want. They know that we are coming. And when we get there, we sit as brothers and sisters, but in a formal setting, ready to do business for the benefit of our people. Finally, I want to applaud again what our colleagues have said. DRC is a great resource for EAC. We should embrace, welcome our brothers and sisters in EAC. This will help us realize the dreams of our leaders, whom you well know have been fighting to ensure that Africa gets a position in the world economics, in the world security, in the world peace. And once we are together with DRC, East Africa will be a power to reckon with. Without wasting your time, ladies and gentlemen, I think let me spare this time for the burning questions you want to ask, but allow me to assure you that Uganda, the business sector, have played their role to join into doing business in DRC. And as Foreign Affairs, the coordinators of the activities of Uganda outside Uganda, we are more than ready to play our rightful role, working together with our brothers and sisters from the Ministry of East African Community, Ministry of Trade, and any other line ministry that will be involved in these activities. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, there is a lot of things that you want to ask, you want to understand, but Brenda has been chipping in, giving you bits and bits, and as she said, there is a website where you can access most of this information, such that when you go to DRC, we go ready to do business. I thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. Thank you. I have one other small role and responsibility to invite our brother, who is the representative of the ambassador of the Democratic Republic of Congo, who is here with us and who has walked the journey with us. And I'm sure they are ready for us, and let him come and share with you. Mr. Katoto, please come and say a few words to these people, and then we proceed. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister of Trade, who have been here and represented by the one who took the seat, I would like to thank you for being there. A representative of PSFU and all distinguished guests, I would like to thank you for being there. All protocol observed, and especially people of the media. You are very, very important. I would like this morning just to say thanks for the invitation which came from our people of Private Sector Foundation Uganda in informing us that there is a business forum which will be organized between Uganda and Congo from 21st May 2022 to 8th June 2022. It will be for us a very big event when business people can meet together. I can say it seems to be the first biggest forum we can have between businessmen of Uganda and the DRC at a very high level. And this is a big event, and we must applaud that. We must encourage that. Because without business, I think politics can't move. No money, no politics. With money, there is politics. Someone said before that politicians can take decisions, but to implement those decisions, they need the private sector. Let us first of all put our feet in the spirit of reinforcing business between our countries by our two His Excellencies presidents of Uganda and Congo, who has been meeting together last year and this year to reinforce our bilateral partnership. And from that, there is a decision to build a road between Uganda and Congo, going from Bwera to Kasindi, Beni and Butembo, to build the road going from Bunagana to Ruchuru and Goma. It means what? To reinforce our businesses. This is something which must be applauded, because without roads, without infrastructure, there's no business. Sometimes the goods of Uganda can stuck on the road because of bad roads. Sometimes the goods of Congo to Uganda can stuck because of bad roads. But head of state have decided to build those roads. Number two, let us recognize regarding what Madam Uma have been saying, that there is a lot of barriers because of insecurity. The love of Uganda to DRC in sending its troops in eastern of DRC is to bring peace. And without peace, there is no development. And I think it's also a matter of small people who are looking out to disturb that relationship between the two countries are handled at another level. And we hope very soon that that matter and security for businessmen will be handled well. Number three, I would like to thank the East African community for accepting DRC to integrate its community. Everyone has said about it. Numbers have, I can say, doubled. Today speaking, we are 107 million people in the DRC. The only town of Kinshasa, it is between 18 and 20 million people, which means that we can have a huge market. The representative of the trade, commerce, said to us that only for January, between Congo and Uganda, Uganda made a little bit, an amount of $74 million for 1 month. You multiply it by 12 months, we have $1 billion. It will be the first country in the Central Africa to do a tremendous commerce between the two countries. So I think it is like a motivation for the private sector to push, to boost those relations between Uganda and Congo. Imagine in January, between Uganda and Kenya, it was only $40 million if I go through the newspapers. But for the first time in 2022, Uganda and Congo exchanged business of $74 million 1 month. Let us work with the statistics. Number 4, I would like to encourage the Minister of Foreign Affairs for updating the Embassy of Congo. I'm not here in my name. I'm here in the name of my ambassador, His Excellency Jean-Pierre Massala, who told me to represent him because he's in other functions. But what we know between Congo and Uganda regarding the 2 ministries of foreign affairs, we are in good, very good conditions of communications. And in being here, it strengthens the relationship between the 2 countries. And the most important for tomorrow coming is to implement the program which is coming from this meeting of today. We don't have place to fail. We must succeed. There is no place for failures because many people already are involved. Imagine even Uganda Airlines is willing to transport people, more than 200 people. I mean, this is something like a big gift. If we lack that opportunity, there is something like a lacking life. Sometimes I can say money is not life because I'm a big Christian Catholic, but sometimes money brings life. And the money can't come without work. And the work comes from entrepreneurship. Let us boost our youth to do business by inventing, renovating things between the 2 countries. I conclude in saying that I'm personally honored to be in this forum, but I will not be able to answer to any question because my Minister of Trade is not here, and also the representative of Congo are not here. But I have a small detail to say. I'm not alone in this room. There is a Congolese company which is called K&K Business Consulting Company with its MD, who is here, if he can stand up to be recognized, Mr. Justin Ketoto. You are welcome. And he's playing a role in helping the 2 PSFU and our PSFU Congo, our PFCU Congo, how can I say it? PFCU Congo, PFCU, private sector, PSFU, DRC, which is called la Fédération Congolaise des Entreprises du Congo. It is FEC in a short, and he's playing that role to help us how we can boost our relationship in business between the 2 countries. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you for that reassuring statement. So Ugandans, you're welcome into DRC, in short. So now, without wasting much more time, we shall go into a very few questions because we have basically run out of time. What I will request our media team to do is walk to that, there's a microphone that has been specifically put for the media team. Walk to it and raise your question. You can say to whom you want the question to be answered. And then So we'll take two sets. We'll take two sets of three questions. And if there are any more burning questions after that, we shall agree on whether to have them or let the team, let the meeting end. So now I will now go into the Q&A and request that all those who have questions, put up your hands. I'll pick the first three questions. We'll have them be presented to our panel here. And then once they've been answered, we'll have another three. Is that okay with you? Okay. So questions, please say your name, say the media institution that you are from, and then state your question. So we'll have three of you. There's a gentleman in white seated. I'm sorry, I don't know all your names. And the two. Who else? The gentleman in black and the one in yellow. So we'll take those three first. Go ahead. Afternoon. Please, can we have that microphone switched on?
Good afternoon. My name is Tom Angurini. I work with the Daily Monitor. The first question goes to the trade. You mentioned the statistics from 2016 and to 2021. What are your projections? Now, since what are your projections from the outcome after holding this business forum? And then to foreign affairs, there are these issues of visas. Congo still demands visas. I happen to come from Arua. I was there recently. Ugandans don't ask for visas from Congolese. They just enter into DRC. Into Uganda. But the Congolese tend to charge Ugandans for entering Uganda, for entering into DR Congo. How far has this been? And you mentioned also, the trade minister mentioned the Congolese, the roads. The roads, how far has it reached? The roads they're constructing in Congo. Unfortunately, the first council said he couldn't answer a question, but mine was going to go to the security one. If the Ugandan troops withdraw, are you going to, in any case, there's any insecurity, were you going to invite Ugandan troops back? Since the two presidents discussed that we should manage issues of security together to export promotion, but I still also want statistics from you. What are your projections in exports?
Okay, I'll request that we ask one question. He has asked 4 questions. So ideally, he has taken the room for all the others. So please state one question, and because many of you will want to ask. So let's have one question, and then if we can get another opportunity, we'll have more. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm Adrian Balewanika. I work with Vision Group in broadcast. I think this goes to Mr. Simwe specifically. We know that for trade to thrive, communication is very important. How are you dealing with the challenge of language? How are you preparing these two communities to be able to communicate to each other for trade to make more meaning? Because we all know that these are two different communities, and Uganda particularly, I think we are not doing so well in Swahili. So how are you preparing these two communities to be able to trade efficiently?
One more.
Well, my name is Muchivi Shama. I'm an editor at Gugude TV, and I'm the media coordinator of the Parliamentary Forum on Trade. I'm interested to know, Uganda is one of the countries that have soft landing for traders that come from other countries to Uganda. But we have had issues, bad experiences with our traders that take their goods, especially we've had so many issues with Kenya. The representative ambassador from Kong said we would not love to take on questions, but would love to have an assurance, sir, if you can, that our traders will have soft landing when it comes to trading with Congo come the next year. Thank you.
Okay, I think now we can go to our panelists to respond to that. I will start with the Ministry of Trade. Then Ministry of Trade and Uganda Export Promotion Board, basically the question was in terms of projections and on statistics. Then we'll go to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, if you can speak to the issue of visas and the aspect of security. Then we will have on the aspect of language, Foreign Affairs, you could also, no, sorry, I think that is to PSFU specifically. And then finally, on the issue of the soft landing, probably Trade and Ministry of Foreign Affairs will also handle that together. I hope that's okay. The microphones are right in front of you, so you don't have to move. You can pick a microphone in front of you and use that.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good afternoon, colleagues. I'll be very brief because the questions are indeed quite brief, but there is one other question I'll address myself to on the language. But let me start with the statistics. We are looking at what kind of projections are we probably expecting. Now, projection certainly would be a range, and depending on the time. I will get back and look at the basis on which we prioritize the DRC as a market, and that is the National Export Development Strategy. And from the analysis that was done then, the DRC was prioritized, or increasing bilateral trade flows between Uganda and DRC became a priority with key sectors identified, but also key constraints on both sides identified. And we said, look, these are the issues we need to start by addressing. Very strategic in nature. For us, we started a couple of years ago, though quite often when we are reading the media, you say, oh, Uganda has not moved to restore this with the DRC or to trade with the DRC. But I would want to say that this is an effort that has been going on for a while in terms of construction of roads on either side, pacification of the area in terms of peace and security, like my brother said here. If you don't have peace, you won't trade. Certain things, if we had certain sounds now, even some of you would leave your cameras here. And that's what happens with merchandise if you are trading. So peace is fundamental. So we worked already with the government of DRC to put those fundamentals in place for us to be able to trade with each other. And indeed, that's why over the 6-year period, we have had an increase in trade of 49%, and an annual average of 7%. So the projections that we have is that with these interventions now, and the fundamentals already in place, the annual growth of the total bilateral trade flows between Uganda and DRC will actually move from 7% to double that figure, about 15%. So you can apply that to the figures for the next 5 or so years. That's the projection, and that's the target, so that we are able to have annual growth of up to 15% annually in trade between the two countries. I must point out that this is essentially on the goods side, but we're also looking so much to the services side, and we think we'll be able to move there. Some of you may note that in the early 1990s and up to even the late 1990s, Uganda was a very big consumer of music services from DRC. Now we have also come of age, and we are able to sell our own music the other side, plus a couple of other services, the logistics and so on and so forth. So there is a great opportunity. I would want to implore all of us to be on the lookout and see what we can pick for ourselves. The soft landing by Uganda and Ugandans in DRC, again, like I just pointed out, the two governments have been engaging over time, putting in place both the hard infrastructure but also the regulatory infrastructure to ensure that you have harmonization. We've had the MOUs on immigration, standards and quality assurance, and so on, plus the border agency cooperation. And at this point, I should point out that we have actually a joint project that we are implementing together with the government of DRC, the Great Lakes Trade Facilitation Project. So already the mechanisms for doing that are in place, and I have no doubt that people who will be engaging in legal trade in DRC will not find any institutional problems getting in there. The last one I want to address myself to relates to communication. Now, on the communication, when we talk about possibility of a barrier in language and the like, I would want us to move away from Kampala now to the border. The gentleman who asked the question, probably if you asked him, where do you come from, you'll find he's so many kilometers away from the border. Now, my brother over there who says he comes from near the border, I'm sure you are able in a way to communicate. The border communities are able to communicate with each other. Because basically the borders are artificial in a way. You'll find a family has people in Uganda, the other one in the DRC side, their language is the same. And they are more fluent in Swahili than most people in this room. Plus even the local dialects on either side of the border. So to me, that is not really a very big issue. It would, especially when it comes to trade. Because with trade already of close to $1 billion taking place, 670 or so million US dollars, you can't say that language is a barrier. The language becomes a barrier to the fellows in the boardrooms. Those are the ones that need translators. But the ones in the markets, I don't think any of you who has gone to DRC market has found their translators, but the people are transacting. So it's not really a big problem. The people already know how to deal with it. But even then, from the institutional side, you also know already that in Uganda, Swahili is one of the languages that are taught in schools. So that is already a deliberate measure, so that some of those who may feel we are far away from the border, at least at some point, you're going to be able to communicate. I think that's all for me, or for the ministry, which I should, I guess, can be supplemented by my colleagues over here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bwana Mutahunga, for that elaborate explanation. Mine was basically on visas, and I believe the fellow who asked that question was looking at the situation whereby DRC is a member of EAC. Why are they still asking us visas? You may recall that DRC was recently admitted into EAC, but it's not yet a full member of EAC in terms of practical issues. For it to be fully being in EAC, there are some protocols and steps to be taken, one of which is the visa regime. That's one. Secondly, to say that Uganda, we don't ask for visas, but they ask us to first pay for the visas, I don't think that's true. If it's there, then that's part of the business that has been going on along the common border that accounts for about 53% that the minister talked about, the illegal movement. But as our president normally says, what is illegal between someone from the Bamba tribe on the Ugandan side crossing to see his colleagues or relatives across the border? Really, there is nothing illegal, but these are artificial boundaries. Now, coming to answer that one in real sense, when I was speaking, there is something I left out deliberately. There is an animal called JPC, Joint Permanent Commission. And along this business forum, we shall have some people from some of the ministries, some officials who will go along with the business community to engage with our brothers and sisters in DRC to discuss and harmonize on some of those issues, because we have a standing Joint Permanent Commission with the DRC, which would have taken place around this time, but because of a number of other challenges,
It has been postponed and it will take place, I believe, before the end of this year. And most of the issues that are pertinent, whether a visa, whether it's about to other MOUs that are not yet signed, those will be handled under that joint permanent commission. And the purpose of such engagements is basically to ensure that we address any impediment that can affect trade, that can affect the movement of people, that can affect even the services, because if you are providing a service across the border or someone from DRC is providing a service here, he meets challenges, how are they mitigated? So all of those things are normally addressed under that kind of arrangement, which is called the Joint Permanent Commission. Now, there is this other thing which my brother talked about of the language barrier. Allow me also to address myself on that. Most of these gadgets we are holding are not made in Africa. And they are not necessarily made in the English-speaking countries. How do our people get them? How do they get there? How do we trade with China? With business, I think there is no big worry on how we are going to do business with DRC. And I also want to emphasize that Swahili is one of the official languages that have been allowed not only in Uganda, but even in the EAC proceedings. So DRC joining EAC, it will be easy. It's just a question of time. And I want to encourage Ugandans to help themselves by learning some of these languages, because there are things which government, which institutions like Export Promotion Board or private sector foundation cannot do. We need to be innovative and help ourselves. If you want to do business, there are some basics you have to put in place. You can't do business without a license. Is there anybody from Export Promotion Board who advises you to get a license? No, you know it's a requirement. Now language is a requirement. Let's follow up on that one. Finally, the issue of security. We are doing this one because our leaders have worked together to ensure that there is security. I think our leaders are not anywhere ready to let you down. So have trust, faith in them. They started it without consulting you, and I think they have done a very good job. That's why we are following them, and I believe they are going to keep there, to keep working together to ensure that your efforts in doing business, that your efforts in facilitating and encouraging, because when you are not there, these governments are not going to work. You are the engine of development. They must protect that one. They have done so, and they are ready to do that one. Let's have trust and faith in them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for ably handling all the questions. So how many more burning questions do we have? Okay, looks like we have 2. So we will take your question first, and then we'll have him final. So we'll have 2 more questions, and then after that, we will close our event. Please go ahead.
I'm Titus Kakembo from the New Vision. My interest is regarding tourism. We've been having the East African Common Visa. How does the addition of Congo spice up the destination?
Thank you. Adrian Bale Mwanike again from Vision Group. The other question is to do with standards. Where there is trade, standards is a very, very key issue. Still goes to Mr. Simwe. I want to hear you talk this time around. How are you mobilizing the business community in Uganda? And how are you ensuring quality and standards as far as trading with our brothers in Congo are concerned? Of course, even on the other side, same thing applies. So we need to hear that from you.
Thank you very much. Oh, there's another question. Okay.
Oh, thank you very much. Aloysius from NTV. Mine goes to the representation from DRC about markets. Before you being open to ESC, maybe I would love to know what are the current goods that were being exported to Congo, and maybe I love to know your expectations now you to be have been open to ESC. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, moderator. When I was young, I was told that when you invite someone, you respect why you have invited him or her. I request that our friend from DRC made a disclaimer before you started the question and answer session. I would request that that question put aside because he clearly stated what he's going to do. Thank you.
I think let me go quickly to the question. As a former media person, I know that deadlines are dead. Deadlines or you're dead. I think you have to go back to press. Titus, thank you for that, and Mr. Bwanika. On tourism, it's one of the things we are taking. Just probably for emphasis, we are going with a whole ecosystem to the DRC. We're going with the manufacturers, we're going with agriculture people, ICT, trades, or traders, we're going with the logistics people to facilitate any business, both land and air. We are going with professional services, lawyers, accountants, financial services. We are going with banks, insurance companies. We are also going ahead to talk about education. We have over 50 universities here, tertiary institutions. We are going to attract our brothers and sisters to come here and learn in our educational centers. Similarly, we want to learn French. We're also going there to learn. We're going to learn Chikongo and Lingala, Chiluba, very good languages, very close to our languages here. Uganda is big in oil, gas, minerals, and extractives. We're having discussions. We're talking about real estate and construction. And of course, my brothers here talked about the creative sector. Now, tourism is critical. And I talk about tourism with some level of understanding, having been in that sector for many years. Let me say that, for instance, we have 5 flights a week between Entebbe and Kinshasa. Kinshasa has emerged as one of the biggest capital cities in both in terms of both size and population. 18 million people and counting. So typically, we are also opening Uganda to people from the DRC as tourists. Tourists in leisure, tourists in business, tourists in all facets of travel. As you know, tourism is measured in stay and spend. There is so much to see here. And as much, we are not here in terms of, we are not selfish. We are also saying we want Ugandans to go and tour Kinshasa and tour the DRC. So in respect to the question you asked about the tourist visa, the East Africa tourist visa only applies in 3 countries: Uganda, Kenya, and Rwanda. It's a 90-day multiple entry, $100 visa for anybody inbound coming into the 3 countries. Of course, we've spoken to other members of the East African community to be a part of this because it has very many advantages. But for now, even the other existing ESC members are not part of this provision. But with that said, tourism is top on the agenda. We are going with travel trade. We are going with hoteliers. We are going with people in the transport, tourism transport area. And we know that there's going to be a bit more traffic after this visit because we want to do business to business with all our counterparts on both sides. And I'm very, very hopeful. But that's in respect to air travel. But already we share a common border. You know that Uganda is a signatory to the GVTC, the Greater Virunga Transboundary Cooperation, which basically brings together the 3 countries that have a common geographical border that is home the only place in the world where you have mountain gorillas. Uganda, Rwanda, and the DRC. Uganda accounts for over 55% of the world's mountain gorillas. They are based in Mgahinga and Bwindi impenetrable forest. But we have our brothers across in Virunga and the other massives. So we share that border, and a lot of cross-border travel and leisure experiential excursions take place between the two areas. So we are excited that we shall have that discussion in that meeting. But over to Mr. Bwanika. You were asking about, did you say what is it, Mr. Bwanika? If you could just remind me. Oh, standards, yes, thank you. Yes, standards are critical, and I thank you for that question. There is no way we are going to compete in that market if we do not have good standards. You might be aware that there have been very many delegations that have been coming from other countries and are competing for the same space as us. So one is internally, as we prepare to go to the DRC, one of the critical discussions we are having is the issue of standards. We are taking it very seriously. Part of the consortium players we are going with is the Uganda National Bureau of Standards. But beyond that, we are also accredited to other international certifying agencies like ISO and others. I know that our biggest consortium is the Uganda Manufacturers Association. They are very, very, very critical on standards. Similarly, we are also going with registered business association. Standards are not just only in terms of hardware. Standards also talk about software, your registration, your legitimacy, your address, whether you've got good corporate governance. Can we do business together? We don't want to go with the briefcase companies. We want to go with the legitimate, registered, authorized, and authentic players in this market. We are going to be very critical. We are going to screen. We don't want to go with what in the street we call it biwani. No. We will put a disclaimer. And we are going with very, very fantastic institutions: Export Promotions Board, Uganda Investment Authority, Uganda Manufacturers Association, Farmers Federation, the ICT consortiums. We are going with Uganda Bankers Association, the National Logistics Platform. We are going with very, very strong bodies, both in terms of goods, but also in terms of service. So clearly, this is good, but most importantly, we are also encouraging people to get certification from the certifying bodies. And our certifying body for the government is the UNBS. And we want that seal of approval to be appearing on the products, on the services, and typically on the engagements that we are going to have. Thank you.
I hope you do. Also add my voice on the standards question. There are two elements that are important for us to note. Number one, before DRC's accession to the East African community, like I pointed out earlier, we already have been having engagements. And from those engagements, one of the MOUs that had been signed is on standardization in terms of the formulation of standards, quality assurance, but also mutual recognition. So that if a product is certified here and goes the other side and has a stamp of UNBS, it is accepted the other side, and vice versa. That is the mutual recognition. So that already deals with that. But now with the accession of DRC into EAC, that is also already taken care of because you have EAC common standards. And the laws in terms of the either formulation all the way up and enforcement or implementation. So the issue of standards is really now really well catered for. The only thing that we would do is us as individuals, as a government, calling upon each other to ensure that whoever is going to trade actually complies with the national and regional standards that have been put in place. Thank you. I thought I should provide that clarity.
Okay, thank you very much. I think your questions have been ably answered. Yeah. And I must say the business community now is wondering, okay, so we have had DRC is waiting, so how do we move? Okay, so as we wind up, I want to give just a summary of what we're going to have in DR Congo, but we will have a lot more information going out after now. So the mission starts on 29th, when the Ugandan delegation will travel to DR Congo, Kinshasa. Now, we are traveling with Uganda Airlines, please remember that, because it has a direct flight from here into Kinshasa. Then on 30th and 31st, we'll have interactions, especially with government, where they'll be discussing Minister of Trade, URA, and a number of other key government institutions will be discussing some of what you are talking about here. Now, in those meetings, private sector will be part of them, because the issues that will be being discussed are basically to improve what is happening now. Then from 1st June to 3rd June, we will have the business summit, where we will have the business people speak to each other and actually cut deals. So that is the time where we'll have the exhibition. The exhibition will actually start right from 30th. So anybody ready to exhibit, once we have your details, we'll begin preparing on the other side. Now we have a team on the other side already preparing the B2B meetings and the way we are going to have our business connections. So it is important that as you register, highlight what you want to do. Do you want only exhibition? Do you want exhibition and B2Bs? So that we are able to set up appointments for you on the other side. Remember, we're in Kinshasa for just 3 days, then we move to Goma. Now, business people, you may have, probably you're from roofings, you're from pig fair, you have so many business people that want to meet you. So we are going to set up in such a way that whoever has appointments has a secured place to sit, and the appointments are scheduled. So the moment we get your information in early, we begin looking for the different companies on the other side. So if you share details early, then you will be served early. Okay, so that's for the B2B meeting. So between 1st and 3rd, a lot of B2B meetings will be happening. We'll also have exhibition and the summit. Then June 4th, now there'll be a detailed program coming out, because in those 3 days, we also want to visit some of the businesses in Kinshasa where Ugandans have invested and hear from them how is business actually going on here. So we have a couple of business people that we'll be able to interact with who are our own, and you will be able to share, they'll be able to share their experience. So on 4th June, we travel to Goma. Now, Uganda Airlines is organizing a charter plane for us, because there is no direct flight between Kinshasa and Goma. There are a number of local flights, but because we are a group, it is best and most comfortable that we continue to work with our own airlines, which is prepared to provide that charter. So the costs, unfortunately, I can't give you the detail of cost now, but it will be shared as we go along. We will share the contacts of Uganda Airlines and whom you can contact. So we'll fly out of Kinshasa and go down to Goma and have the meetings there. So from 5th to 7th June, we will be able to have all the meetings, the summit, very similar to what we'll have had in Kinshasa. So we'll have the summit, we will have the B2Bs, and we'll have an exhibition. So please take note that as you prepare your items for exhibition, don't leave everything in Kinshasa, because you have a whole business community in Goma waiting to learn and see your products. So prepare yourselves for the two places. On aspects of translations into French, we're also organizing with the team on the other side. If you have your designs ready, they will be able to do translations for you and send back or and print on the other side. So that detail we shall be able to provide at Private Sector Foundation. So then finally on 8th, we will fly out of Goma into Entebbe. So you won't be going back to Kinshasa, okay? So that's why we have had to have a charter plane from Kinshasa back to Entebbe. So please take note of those details in terms of flying out. So ladies and gentlemen, Private Sector Foundation has a link prepared where you will click and register. And the contact details of whoever is in charge of that is clearly on their website. So Private Sector Foundation, Chamber of Commerce, Uganda Manufacturers Association, that detail is very key for your members so that they are prepared. We have very short time. It's a very tight time for us. So the faster the better, and the clearer your information is, the better. Now, on the aspect of visas, once we have the numbers of those who are going to participate, we are going to have to put together a whole list. We are going to work with the embassy, they will guide us, and our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where we'll have a note verbal, which will confirm people who are ready to participate. Okay? So that's the bit of the detail I can share. But from here, from this afternoon going forward, you will get a lot more information.
Brenda, I have a quick comment.
Yes, Stephen.
Just for emphasis, thank you, Brenda, for that elaborate communication. I think it's important that at PSFU we have offered to be the secretariat for the focal point. So if you want to walk in and ask any questions physically, you can come. I'd like to ask Ronnie to stand up. Ronnie Molongo, if you can stand up. And Catherine Musoke, our head of PR and our head of membership. Those are the contact persons physically. You can see them after this press conference. But our other associates, Chamber of Commerce, of course, manufacturers who are our colleagues, are still the place. But in terms of physical walk-in discussion, we will have a secretariat table for that to discuss this particular portfolio. And then we'll be having regular meetings, the organizing committee. And maybe, Brenda, it would be important to say that there's an advance team leaving for Kinshasa and Goma to prepare ahead. There will be that advance team that will prepare the way for the discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very, very much for that clarification of the details, because we have very short time we need to move. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very, very much for full participation and for the detailed questions you have raised. I'd like now to request that we conclude at this point, because our time is very much spent. So any other questions, now you know where to go. I think now we can conclude with that. Thank you very much. I've been asked that can we have a photograph. I know our Honorable Minister has left, but we could have a group picture just right in front here for the... So we can have just a group picture for our panelists. Uma, please, Miaka, Mr. Stewart, you can join and have that group picture. Ronnie, Catherine, please come and have Peter, please join for this group photo. Okay, I think, are we done? Thank you very much.
Reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's what you feel in the gentle caress of tropical wind from the mountaintops. And the glow in your heart from a warm neighborly invite. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking to the taste of food that takes you on a journey. In the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth. In the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.